Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a transportation worker is credited for saving a life. Plus, a new program is rolling out to help people seeking addiction recovery.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Alrighty, almost 6:33 here on your Friday morning. I'm Dakota Makris, and boy, I know we worked all week for the weekend. Let's head over to Brandon for a look at our forecast this morning. And he's not really doing much of any work over there.
Nope. Not doing anything.
Not trying to wrangle me in, making sure we're on time.
Not clipping no video, trying to keep this newscast on time.
I'm telling you, when he's not on TV, he just sits over there.
I do. I literally have a chair sitting right here behind me.
Yep.
Or actually, nope, never mind. Anyway, all right, let's talk about this forecast this morning. We are looking again at some cooler conditions across the region. A little light traffic up on top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain, US 119. No major issues, though, up there on the ridge this morning. 30s and 40s out there, 34 Wise, down to 41 now in Harlan. So temperature's still dropping. So Grundy, now the new warm spot at 42. Along with Manchester, just seen that they're at 42 as well. So tied there for the warmth this morning. But temperature's still going down. They'll continue to kind of be stabilized there as we head deeper in the morning, right around 37 here in the next little bit. And then they'll try to get back to right around 40 a little bit later today. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, Kentucky State Police are investigating a crash that left 2 dead in Pike County. The crash happened around 4:30 p.m. on Monday, January 9th. Troopers say Tabitha Van Horn tried to turn on State Highway 194 in the Meta community when her car was hit by a dump truck. Well, they say the 70-year-old and 43-year-old Kyle Van Horn died at a hospital from their injuries. The crash remains under investigation. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet recognized one of its crew members yesterday after he saved a life during July's flooding. Our Jordan Mullins has more about his story.
In July, floodwaters submerged the region, and the first people to get out on the drenched roads were those trying to repair them.
We had a lot of stories coming out right after the flooding of our men showing, great sacrifice, doing things to help others. Several of them were affected themselves.
21-year-old Daniel Smith was one of many Kentucky Transportation Cabinet highway technicians out on the job. But when he heard a call for help, he sprang to action.
I just knew something bad was happening, and I had to get to him, help out.
Smith says he heard a woman calling out for help. Her husband had fallen into the floodwaters.
Seen his head bobbing up and down. He was hanging from a limb, and I ran over. I was the first one to get to him, and he was able to reach to me, and I grabbed him and put him up on the bank.
On Thursday, nearly 6 months later, Smith has been recognized by KYTC officials for his bravery. His father, who retired from the cabinet soon after the floods, says he and his mother are proud.
He always got to hear the stories that I always, bring home to him whenever he was a little boy growing up. I mean, Dad worked for the cabinet, and so now I'm at home, and he can come home and tell me the stories, the things that he's done and stuff.
Reaching out a hand to save a life. In Pikeville, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, KYTC added that Smith has set an example for highway workers across the state and even across the country, and they thanked him for his service to his community. Well, Governor Andy Beshear said the state is beginning to see, quote, some real stability in the Commonwealth Sheltering Program. Well, the program was created to provide temporary shelters to disaster survivors who are unable to find rental homes or apartments. Beshear stressed that just because the program is stabilizing, that does not mean that people have found permanent housing.
We still have a lot of work to do there. But what it means is that we've had, just since last week, 6 households transition out of the program. Those are good numbers because that means that they have found a more desirable place for their family than in one of the travel trailers. And
well, the governor added 249 travel trailers are currently occupied. State parks are housing 28 people in lodges or cabins. And of those 28 people, 26 are at Jenny Wiley and 2 are at Carr Creek. A Kentucky lawmaker has officially left office. Ralph Alvarado is now Health Commissioner of Tennessee. He announced plans to resign back in November, and he was sworn into his new position a few days ago. A special election is set to fill his seat on May 16th, the same day as the primary. Well, the district includes Bath, Clark, Menifee, and Montgomery counties, as well as part of Lexington. U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona visited 2 schools in Perry County yesterday, surveying the difference that Promise Neighborhood grants are making in the schools in our region. He also sat down with parents and community leaders to learn more about what he can take back to D.C. after making another big announcement.
We announced today $27 million in Promise Neighborhood grants, and coming here to see how they're using Promise Neighborhood grants here to give students opportunities, 3-year-olds to go to school earlier, high school students to think about career pathways that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Well, the money was granted to Partners for Rural Impact as its focus is developing students from cradle to career. Kentucky communities can now apply to be certified recovery ready as state leaders work to combat the opioid epidemic. Back in June, the governor announced the program, which is now ready to roll out to help people who are seeking treatment from addiction. As Chad Hedrick explains, recovery advocates have been working and hoping to see the program like this launch so patients could get help closer to home.
After a record year of overdose deaths in 2021, Kentucky is ramping up efforts to save lives and give people a second chance.
Recovery Ready Communities effort is really a testimony to what we're facing with addiction, substance use disorder.
Thursday, Governor Beshear announcing applications are now open for the Recovery Ready Community Program. First revealed in June, the effort is designed to offer support groups, recovery meetings, and employment services at no cost to those currently seeking treatment for a drug or alcohol addiction.
Getting back into the community, that's where we see the recidivism, that's where we see relapses occur. So providing communities that are ready to embrace folks as they're finishing paying their debt to society through incarceration, or as they're completing residential treatment, to have somewhere where they can relearn or learn a new skill set and enter the workforce.
To be a recovery ready community, there is a certain criteria a community must meet from an evaluation. If a community does not meet the criteria, officials with the program will explain why and work with them to fix what needs addressed so they can be approved.
This is going to be a huge boost to all of the tragic overdose and loss that we've experienced over the past decades. This is the answer. This is what's going to turn the tides.
Chad Hedrick, WYMT Mountain News.
There is no deadline for applying to be a recovery ready community. An advisory panel will approve communities on a rolling basis.
6:40 here on this Friday morning. We're seeing temperatures there in the 30s and 40s, from 34 in Wise to now 42 in Grundy and Manchester, but a lot more 30s trying to show up there across parts of our region. So make sure you bundle up as you head out the door this morning. It's getting a little bit chilly out there so far. Out the door forecast, clouds will linger for a little while today, so be ready for that. I do think we'll go down a little bit more as the front clears the area and then rebound right back to 40 this afternoon. I do think also we'll see some late day sunshine as well. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. Still to come here on Mountain News this morning. 3 people were pinned after a Denny's sign fell right as they were driving by.